G'day, it's Jamie and welcome to Tantanoola Tigers. Today I'm reading a couple of old newspaper reports about two tigers escaping between Barwon and Walgett, Western New South Wales in 1887. So we'll get into it. This first article was published in Hobart's The Mercury on Friday the 5th of November 1886, titled Launceston. At the police court this morning, the Messrs St. Leon, of circus fame, were charged with leaving a wagon containing two tigers on the Beaconsfield Road on Saturday and Sunday. It appears that the circus was on its way to Beaconsfield on Saturday when the wagon broke down at Trevellyn, a short distance beyond the Cataract Bridge, and was left there while the circus went to Beaconsfield. And during the night, not a few passers-by were startled by the growls of the animals, and information was given to the police, which resulted in this charge being laid and proved, and a fine of 10 shillings and costs was inflicted. The end. So this final article was published in the Newcastle Morning Herald and Miners Advocate on the 4th of March 1887, titled Local and General News. For first-class fish stories, snake yarns, narrow escapes from being eaten by man-eating buckjumpers, and the 1,001 striking incidents of life in the back blocks, commends us to our up-country contemporaries. The latest terrible peril from which Australia has escaped is that of being stocked with Royal Bengal Tigers, as chronicled in the Tenterfield Star, our contemporary states. The escape of a couple of tigers from St. Leon's Circus while en route from Barwon to Walgett recently caused some alarm among the company, who took refuge in the river. Tigers are not partial to water, and the affrighted ones remained for some time in what they deemed to be a safe place of retreat. Eventually, however, all fears were allayed by the return of the keeper, who had succeeded in finding them. The snarling brutes quietly submitted to having a collar placed around their necks and being led back to the place of escape. The tigers, we believe, are monster specimens of the Bengal breed, and the easy way in which they were secured and led through the bush by a single individual is evidence of the power of which a bold and fearless man can exercise over these presumably untamable beasts. When we consider our rabbits have extended all over Australia, the escape of which the interior wilds have experienced of being in a few years warming with the tigers is accompanied with a sense of relief. It is, however, cheering to reflect that if a pair of tigers had got loose and exchanged prison bars and stirring up with a long pole by sympathising menagerie keepers for freedom and hunting kangaroos on the flats, should not have despaired of the country of getting rid of these monsters. So long as the Honourable James Inglis is in the country, we may breathe freely, for Stripes has no show against his death-dealing and blood-curdling rifle. And, well, this is pretty incredible. I've done a few stories on these St. Leon circuses before, and one was the Bengal Tiger fight, where they were putting on a show there, and the tigers had a fight because one tiger busted through the partition separating them in the cage and had a fight with each other, and the crowd thought that they escaped, and there was a stampede and everything. And then another story I did was the Richmond River tiger escape, where near Woodford on the Richmond River, the cart fell over and their tiger got out of the cart, and they fortunately got it back in. And now here we've got they left two tigers in a cage overnight near Tassie, and people were worried, so the police got called and they got fined over it. And then 4 months later, they're on their way to Walgett from Barwon, and the two tigers got out of the cage and escaped. And how they got them back, I'll never know, but luckily they did. But like this circus has had a few incidents like this. So if you go and visit a circus back in the 1880s, you were taking your own life in your hands as far as I'm concerned. Okay, that's it for me. I'll get back to you all next time. Bye.